Okay, Sean Bogle here, Graduate Wealth Management, Chief Strategic Officer. I'm going to do something a little different this week and basically do a debrief of the week. Again, this is Friday, the 4th of July. Today was a down day, but I'm just going to go over some of the things that I talked about earlier in the week and see how things worked out this week. So real quick, we'll take a look at the overall market. Here's the S&P. We obviously broke new ground, broke above resistance, had a pretty strong week, culminating in the jobs number yesterday, which the market was very strong, and the market took it and ran. So again, we're kind of extended here. I don't really I don't have any bearish setups yet. It's overextended setups yet in the S&P, but I do in the Nasdaq. Nasdaq actually was a bit stronger. No surprise, it was stronger the prior week, so the relative strength definitely stayed in this Nasdaq space. And I do have the market extreme indicator, on the daily that came in actually on Thursday, and definitely still on Friday. Even though we did go higher on Friday, but I think we may be a little extended here. My oscillators are sort of in this entering this overboard, if you will, space. So going into next week, definitely anticipate some sideways action at best, maybe even a pull into some support, which again is still constructive. We keep going higher, but it's always good to get that stair step that market needs some fuel, to go higher, and that fuel is usually some consolidation or even some back and fill into support. So we'll see how that works out next week, but overall pretty bullish week. So I'm going to go over some of the stocks now that I mentioned in the weeks in the brief coming into the week. One was Pandora. Really, I was looking at this $30 level. It actually peaked above it on Thursday, but the volume just didn't come in there. I just did not really, just told me to stay away from it, and sure enough, it came right back in. And again, after a move from early May, we're up 10 points in this stock that's now third. It's just maybe a little overextended. Reclaimed its 200-day, very, which is definitely a bullish development, but we really need to see it now hold that around the 200-day for any move higher. So PANW, Palo Alto Networks, I mentioned. This was actually I was very somewhat excited about, because again, this broke above these 82s and a half level. I figured, hey, it's all-time high. There's no known resistance up here. It may have a nice move to run. It actually broke above, ran a few points really quickly. I mean, it just went right up there and then just kind of failed. It kind of traded back and forth for these 2 days, and then it really pulled in. Volume did come in, but it came in actually on the sell side up in here. So that tells me there's definitely some distribution going on here. Definitely didn't act right up in that space. That being said, Friday is a little bit of a reversal, although there really wasn't much volume. Really need that thing, see that thing if you're still involved, to go back, challenge the 85s, and continue higher. I just wouldn't have patience to hold on to this, because this could be the classic bull trap. Get buyers in, get people excited, and actually, it'll actually end up going lower. Big sellers came in. I mentioned YY. Again, the same thing, sort of like Pandora. It's had a huge run, so when it comes up above these levels, after a huge run, it's a little tough, especially when no volume comes in, which it didn't. It's tough to really get excited about it. So kind of, again, really, I've held a position for most of this time. I finally got out of whatever I had left. I think yesterday. So again, at best, I want to see this thing just go sideways, find support in here. Definitely want to see it stay above the 200-day, and then that'll give it some fuel, potentially go higher, from there. So NetSuite, this was one that actually broke out quite well. got involved again. So that volume came in. That's what we really need to see for something to move quite well. On the tactical level, we bought it and then we sold it on this day. But it's still, I think, holding up real well. Obviously, right now, that 200 day is that resistance. So this is one of these things. Let's watch it. Hopefully, consolidate in here and then make a punch above that 90, that 200 day, which is now the resistance. So that actually worked out quite well. Another one that worked out quite well that I mentioned is ILMN. It's a biotech. Really we were looking for a break above these trend here, and sure enough, broke right above. Had a really nice day. Kind of is doing a great job in here. On a tactical level, I bought it, sold it in here, but I'm strategically it's a hold, especially now. Breaking above these this 183 level, and really could, again, this is acting quite well. I had one day really strong volume. I want to see the volume come in. Next time the volume comes in, I want to see it explode, take out resistance, and that's what I'll be looking for. In the same space, BIB, which is Biogen, was involved with this as well. Volume not as good as ILMN, but it definitely had 2 days of pretty decent volume here on these breakouts. Had a good run, looking great. So again, I want to see definitely hold above this level in here. There's a three. I'm going to say 325. I want to see it hold above and then continue to go higher. Amazon. Okay, I was actually looking for potential short sale, but I said I'd also buy it above these 330s, and I did, but it was kind of a choppy mess on this day. But on Friday, it actually closed quite well, and now we want to see it get above these 340 level, right? And if it can get above there, that would be a very bullish sign. This has been somewhat of a laggard, so that would be a change of composure, which would be nice to see. Chipotle Mexican Grill, again, another stock that has had a huge run, so it's been tough to get excited about buying these highs, but it's actually doing quite well. I mean, the volume's not there, so I'm not really excited. Didn't play this one this week, but again, I want to, this holding up at these levels is very, very good to see. First Solar, I mentioned Solars didn't really have a good week, but it's still holding up in here. This is I want to see it hold above these high 60s, and then maybe make another move up in here. DDD actually had a very good week. Had a blowout day. That was your day to sell, I guess. Look at that volume that came in and just shot it to almost $70, and now it came in. So that's that blow off top that we're seeing. So that probably tells me it's going to have a few more days at least of some weakness here. But I want to see this thing stabilize and then try to make another move up in here. So it's still doing very well. VJet did the same thing. The whole space had that kind of day. VJet I like a little bit better because you have having some of these inside days that's holding 50% of this range. Again, this is what a move that is right there, from $14 to $25. I mean, these are the things that we can get you involved in. Timing is definitely key in this game. Didn't mention this, but this was one of these stocks I played, but didn't really. Some volume did come in. This is sort of like a net sweet trade, but again, I want to see it hold these 60s. Actually, one of the best trades I had this week was Netflix on the upgrade. Goldman Sachs has been pretty good at coming up with all upgrades. It's when stocks are highs and then they usually sell off. That's been their recent trend, but they broke it with Netflix, and I bought it right on the open, and then the thing just exploded up on that day. So this is awesome. This is really an incredible pattern. It's good developing in Netflix, very similar to the Apple pattern when it had the earnings back in here. If you notice in here, and then it just potentially takes off. But we'll see. The market will tell, and Netflix will tell if it's going to try to do something like that, especially up in here. It's all good. That was it for the week that I really was involved with. We'll talk about next week. I'll do a video on Sunday, and then we'll see how things develop from next week. But overall, not a bad week. Hope